Welcome back.
You got to be yourself. You got to be yourself. You ain't yourself, yo. One time.
Alright, so that was my really cheesy intro for you guys. If you haven't been here before, I'm Cambria. If you have, thanks for coming back and welcome to another Military Monday. I would like to firstly thank everyone for all the support I've been getting. I love making these if they're helping people. It's been super positive comments so far. There's been a few bad ones, but you know, gotta help y'all out. So yeah, first thing, thanks for all the support. If you like my videos, you know the deal. Like, subscribe. Alright, so the topic of today's video is going to be being an athlete at the academy. I was recruited for volleyball and track. I did both my freshman year, and then this year I just did volleyball because I suffered a knee injury. Boo. But I definitely have a lot of experience with being an athlete here and trying to balance school and military and athletics and traveling. So I'm gonna give you guys my experience with that. A lot of the comments are, how is it different being an athlete here? Like, what's the schedule differences? So I've come up with a few things that are different, and also I'm speaking from my perspective. I do not know how all the teams run their systems here. I'd also like to apologize for not uploading last week. Hopefully you guys can understand that it's very hectic here. Once you come back from spring break, there's just so much stuff that you have to do. I was busy checking emails and just planning out this next month, because in a month I have finals. These military Mondays might be military every other Monday because your girl is drowning in homework and tests and projects. But let's get to it. The first thing that's gonna be different if you're an athlete here is your academic schedule. For most athletes, you'll have your classes in the morning because you practice in the afternoons. So for me, I have class from 7:30, which is your M1 or T1, and up until lunch, which is about 11:30. And then every once in a while, athletes will have the class period right after lunch, as long as you have enough time between, you know, that class and going to practice. My freshman year I had a class right after lunch, which was very stressful because I only had 30 minutes to go from class down to the gym and get dressed and get my knees taped and get my ankle taped and then go off to practice for 4 hours. So that is the first difference that you're gonna see. With some teams do lift in the morning, so it's gonna be, they're gonna be long days here. Very, very long days. My schedule currently for in season, I have classes in the morning, I go to lunch, I have maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours after lunch to get tutoring, to do homework, to take a nap if I need it, and then I go down to practice, and I practice from anywhere from 1:30 to 3:30 start time, and then it can go from 1:30 all the way to 3 to 5:30, or you can go from 3:30 to 5:30 or 3:30 to 6:30. You're pretty much just gonna spend majority of your time down in the gym. So you better love your sport. You better love it. It's a grind. Then I come back up, I eat, and then I usually just do homework until bedtime. And I'd say freshman year my average bedtime was probably, if I'm being like brutally honest, probably like 12:30, which isn't that bad, but it can be rough when you're waking up at 6:30 every day, because as a freshman you do have minutes, and if you don't have lift, then you are required to go to minutes with the rest of the freshmen in your squad. So yes, like I probably should have been managing my time a little better and getting more sleep, but now that I'm a sophomore, I'm definitely better with it. I'll wake up earlier, do homework in the morning if I need to, so that I'm not doing as much after practice, because sometimes you're just tired. For volleyball, personally, we do practice and then lift, so most of the time you're looking at like 4 hours combined, and then that doesn't include you like taking care of your body. So like I always ice afterwards, most of the team ices afterwards, and I go down and do rehab beforehand and I do rehab afterwards. So as you can see, you're very busy. So that is what your basic schedule is going to look like, your academic schedule. I had the luxury of only taking 5 classes. 4 classes my first semester, 5 classes my second semester, and then I took 1 class over the summer. It's called a 4-5-1 program. Sometimes athletes are put on it, sometimes if you come from the prep school you're put on it. So that was a luxury that I got, so I had less classes to deal with. Not all athletes get that. Sometimes you'll have 5 or 6 classes your freshman year, and time management, that's all I'm gonna say. The second thing that is different for athletes is you will not participate in intramurals. If you have LOS status, or if you're an IC athlete, IC is intercollegiate athlete, you will not participate in intramurals with the rest of the wing. Also, being an athlete, you're gonna travel a lot, which means you're gonna miss a lot of school. With missing a lot of school at the academy, it can be very stressful if you don't plan ahead and if you don't handle things right away. Before you leave, you're required to ask permission to leave from your teachers because it is like your mandatory duty to be in class. So you do have to ask permission to leave. Like, yes, you are on a sports team, but if you're not doing well in that class, your teachers can say like, hey, no, you need to stay here, you need to be in class, you need to take that test on time, don't travel with the team. And usually if they're telling you that, it's because you actually need it. You shouldn't be traveling if you're about to fail out of the academy. You do have to meet all of the NCAA requirements of like your minimum GPA to travel and or participate on a sports team. So just because you're at a military academy does not exclude you from those rules. Another thing that comes with missing a lot of school is you're gonna have to work harder to get things done ahead of time. For me, I like to turn in all my quizzes that are online before I even leave, because you're not, like when you're on the road, you're not gonna wanna be doing all those things. And I know personally volleyball travels for like 4 or 5 days at a time, so you have a travel day, then you have a game day, and then you're on a plane again, and then you go play someone else, and then you come back, and most of the time you're just gonna wanna sleep because you're playing your sport and you're tired and you're always hungry and you just want to relax. And yes, sometimes you will have to take tests on the road. If your teachers don't make you take them beforehand, sometimes they'll make you take them on the road on time, or you can also coordinate with your teachers to take it afterwards. I don't suggest that because usually if you're taking it afterwards, like you're just gonna forget everything. Just take it before, schedule it beforehand, or take it on the road if you think that you're gonna be able to focus enough to do that. They're really good with like providing you options for studying. So the volleyball team does have like a study hall time period where they give you time to do your homework, and they also travel with tutors. Usually we have a physics tutor, chem tutor, astro, aero, and usually that's like 1 or 2 people that can do all of those subjects. So that's really helpful. Sometimes during the study hall time, I'll just go down there and review the lesson that I'm missing. I try and get the lesson beforehand. Most of the stuff is online, so you can like look at the lessons that you're missing while you're on the road. Travels like as soon as we start the academic year, and I just like blew off a lot of lessons. Was like, you know what, like I don't have time to do this. I'm just gonna focus on volleyball. I'm just gonna travel and just completely disregard the 3 lessons that I'm missing at a time when I travel. And then once the GR came around, I was completely screwed because I just said, I'm not looking at these lessons while I'm on the road. And my GPA took a hit for that, so don't do that. Get good with time management, warn your teachers ahead of time, coordinate with your teachers. On to the touchy subject of cadet athletes missing a lot of mandatory military obligations. Once you get here, you'll realize that sometimes there's just some tension about it. We do get out of stuff. Like I'm just gonna say, like we do get out of stuff because you have practice or you're on the road, so you're gonna miss a SAMI, which is a Saturday morning inspection where you have to like clean your room and all that stuff. You're gonna miss those every once in a while, and especially if you're in season, you're gonna be missing mod a lot if you're gone, or you're gonna be missing your like officership training. So that's one thing that, yes, you will be missing it, and sometimes people are going to give you a hard time for it, and the athletes can sometimes get a bad rep for purposely trying to avoid those things. But my best advice is that if you are here, make the best effort to show that you're involved with squad and that you are also dedicated to not just being an athlete here, but being a cadet and handling your military duty. But at the end of the day, you're learning different skills that are going to help you be an officer. So if you're working with your team and learning how to lead your team, it's the same as working and trying to lead people in your squad. So that's just how I've come to terms with it, is that yes, I'm not going to be as involved with squad. I think I've covered pretty much everything about how your schedule is going to be different, how your military obligations are going to be different. You do still have to go through basic. Athletes don't get out of basic. If someone tries to tell you that, just, they're wrong. Don't let anyone tell you that. You will go through basic. You don't get special treatment during basic. It's nice that you're usually in shape going into basic, so yay for that. School comes first. Athletics comes second, because at the end of the day, being an athlete isn't what's going to keep me here. It's going to be my grades and how willing I am to develop into the person that will eventually be an officer in the Air Force. Hopefully this wasn't just me ranting for 15 minutes. It kind of was. I just like to give an unbiased opinion of what it's like to be an athlete here. It's going to be hard, but I definitely think it's worth it, and everyone else on your team is going through it with you, and there's plenty of athletes here that are going through the same thing, and it's a good time. It is a great time. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I'm sorry if this was just a rant. If you have any questions, again, you can comment down below. I'm usually pretty quick at answering questions, or you can slide into your girl's DMs because the gram is linked down below. So I guess I'll see y'all on the next Military Monday. Thanks for watching.